And welcome back to the Buckle Up Podcast universe with Brandon Rush and Mama Rush. If this is your first time tuning in, I'm actor Brandon Rush. I've been in 81 TV shows and movies, and the biggest TV shows in the last 15 years of my career. April 9th of 2025, I launched the Buckle Up Podcast universe with my mother, who is a pharmaceutical sales specialist, and we have done 167 episodes. We have 18.8 million viewers and listeners in 76 countries in 882 cities around the world. One of the reasons we started this podcast is because we wanted to bring on professionals, teachers, entrepreneurs, small businesses, brands, different people that are the tops of their fields or have knowledge on or can provide education to the younger generation about their life and their story and how they got to where they are today. So we are very excited about that. We also have had doctors on here. We have had lawyers on here. We have had nurses on here. To small businesses, CEOs, veterans, military. I'm trying to figure out actors, actresses, producers, writers, executive producers, casting directors, casting associates. So we have something for everyone here. If you're ever interested in being a guest on the show, feel free to reach out to me on Instagram. You can DM me. That is Brandon Rush with two H's. So that's BrandonRushh, or on our Buckle Up podcast page, which is BuckleUpPodcast. That's the Buckle Up podcast page. As I said, we are happy to have people from different walks of life because it's always better to leave the place better than we found. And if we can help the next generation, then that's what I feel like our purpose is here at the Buckle Up Podcast universe. Today, we are very lucky because we have Rachel on here, who is a viral strategist. I'm going to try and read this off of here. A viral strategist, NIL consultant, an investor, an advisor, a senator, and she is a former Power Forward collegiate student athlete. Was that? I don't even know how to pronounce that one, so I'm just trying to stick away from that one. But she's an investor, advisor, consultant, and Rutgers University senator, a former Gin agency founder, and she's a PR speaker and excuse me. If you need a PR speaker, she does that as well. But I'm gonna have Rachel come on here and tell it like it is in just a few minutes here. Let me check the time. And she should be popping up any moment here. And then I'm going to pause it for right now. I guess before I say that, if you are a brand and you're interested in sponsoring the show, feel free to reach out to me as well. As I said, you can DM me on Instagram or you can contact me through some of the guests that we've had or just reach out to me. I'll have to figure out an email that I can give out to you all. So I have an email, but I know a lot of people are watching this around the world, so I want to make sure that the right people get in that are trying to reach us and not spam. Okay, let's see here. One right now. Voice. Okay, let's see here. Admit. Let me make sure I have it. See here.
Lord.
I am.
Hey, wow, looking stunning.
Thank you. My camera.
Okay, absolutely. Nice. Well,
Yeah,
Rachel.
I
Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I was like, from all these years of like working with creators and talent, it's like this is like the main thing that I've learned was like how to get a good camera. So,
Okay.
I'm about it. And my hair is like, whatever.
No, I like you already. I like the personality. Rachel, it's such a pleasure to meet you.
You too.
I'm Brandon, and then my mom's on here too. She uses her picture though.
Yeah.
She's like, no, this is just my picture. She's like, so any time of the day that you see me, I look like this.
Yeah.
I feel
Rachel, I like the personality. Rachel, first of all, I just want to welcome you to the Buckle Up Podcast universe with Brandon Rush and Mama Rush. I don't think my mom's voice thing's on. Mom, you there?
Yeah. But you said my name, so I did. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you.
Okay, great. Hey, Rachel, welcome
Hi.
to the Buckle Up Podcast
Thank you.
universe.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, you're welcome. I'm Mama Rush, as Brandon said.
Uh-huh.
All righty.
Rachel, first off, will you do me a favor? Will you please pronounce your last name? I didn't want to say it in accident.
Yeah, so My American last name is Brown, like the color. And this is a whole funny story. And
Oh yeah,
my
please let's hear it.
yeah, my Korean family name is Maeng, like mango, but without the O. So
Okay.
I go by Rachel Maeng, but my full name is Rachel Maeng Brown. Before, like in high school and college, I used to go by Rachel Brown. And so I was a collegiate rower, well, coxswain. And it was so
Oh,
funny.
nice.
I would go on all these recruiting visits and they would be like Rachel Brown and like calling out my name and like looking in a lobby and I'm like here and like they're like, oh really? Like, are you
Yeah.
sure? And I like some people be like, wow, I'm surprised you're Asian. Just
Yeah.
the audacity back then. I'd be like,
Seriously.
yeah. Well, my parents have a very common last name, and I'm adopted to a white family too.
Okay.
So it's like even more confusing when you see my parents. People were like, "Were you going to be like a black girl or a white girl?" We weren't sure, but Asian was not in our bingo card.
Yeah.
That was like my whole recruiting trip, or like for all my recruiting trips, like they would openly tell me that, and I'm like, okay, like
They spoke the quiet part out
yeah, they said the
loud.
thing you're not supposed to say out loud to my
Yeah.
face.
Yeah. I guess it was different times then, huh?
Yeah, I don't even know. Was it or just like, did we just have more audacity back then? I really
I
don't know.
think more
But
audacity. If you look at like movies in the 80s and stuff, the things that they got 80s
oh
and
yeah,
90s and
like
stuff
you
they
can
got
never
away.
have something like Monty Python. Like you couldn't do Monty Python. You couldn't do.
Right.
I'm trying to think what else. Like it's just so many things that you
Yeah,
can't do
it
now.
really is. Actually, you
Good
know what's funny?
comedy.
There's this movie called, and I hate to mention it because I actually really like the movie. It's called Soul Man,
Oh
and
yeah,
not many. Oh, remember? Did you see Soul Man, the one
yeah.
with
My
Thomas
fiance is
C.
Westinian, so
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, so it's with Thomas C. Howell, and Thomas C. Howell played Pony Boy, but he plays
mhm,
a he's a Caucasian man who is trying to get in through affirmative action to Harvard, so he puts on blackface.
mhm.
James Earl Jones is
Yeah,
in the movie. The
yep.
movie's phenomenal, actually.
Like yeah, like there's good movies that do some like either dirty or hilariously inappropriate things. Like you can't
Yeah,
make jokes. Like I think honestly, Family Guy is like and
that is.
South Park are like the last two
Mhm.
that really kind of like push that boundary. South Park
Yeah,
really being
Mhm.
like the main one, but you just it's not movies aren't as funny anymore. Like I'm
no,
gonna
you're
say
right.
like I want to watch a movie where I'm gonna see something outrageously inappropriate
Yeah,
honestly
Mhm.
because like I grew up on like Monty Python and Spaceballs and all these like funny
yeah,
Disney shows and like it's sad that I get it, but it's sad. Some things you're like, oh come on, like
Yeah.
everyone joke, like
yeah.
everyone, even if like I identify with that community, like I'll make a joke, honestly.
Yeah, absolutely. Rachel, I like you already. I like the energy you're
Yeah,
coming
I
with.
do too.
Rachel, so this today it's all about you. Rachel, a little bit about your earliest question we had. Rachel, you've excelled across NIL, influencer marketing, sports tech, and entrepreneurship. How did your journey begin? And then also, Rachel, will you
Mhm.
please tell me what college you went to and what you studied there as well?
Okay, I went to Rutgers University in New
Okay.
Brunswick.
Right.
I started out pre-med biomedical engineering.
Oh wow.
Did that for 2 years before my coach was like, number one, your GPA is lower than the team should be,
Oh
because
wow.
we were a very smart team. Number
Yeah.
two, it like didn't go well with like rowing is twice a day, 6 a like 7 a.m. and then 3 p.m. Labs are at 4 p.m. So like it never worked out. And then
Yeah.
lastly, I was in like 6 clubs and organizations, and he's like, I don't think you want to be a doctor.
Yeah.
So changed it to economics and business, and that's what I ended up with.
Okay.
Oh,
Nice. Nice. Okay. Well, that definitely explains a lot how you kind of did the shift. Well, and
Mhm.
then so yeah, so then how did you end up doing so the NIL influencer marketing, sports tech, and entrepreneurship? Take us on that journey, how you got into that world, or I guess after leaving college.
Yeah, yeah. And just a quick question. I know we're already recording. Are we already in the interview, or like are we doing prep right now and then doing the interview?
Oh,
no.
we're in the interview. We're just
We're in the interview.
we do it live. Yeah.
Okay, okay. Just making sure.
Oh no, you
um,
can keep being your natural self. You're good. Like
yeah,
this is
I'm
how we
always
are.
like this, honestly, unless I'm asleep. So like
Okay. Well then, don't change for anybody.
Yeah.
okay, could you repeat the question?
Yes, the question, Rachel, was this: You've excelled in NIL, influencer marketing, sports tech, and entrepreneurship. How did your journey begin? Also, Rachel, I want to say I don't usually read from questions like this, but you have so much going on in your world, and I'm
I have
like,
too much going on.
yeah. So I had to pull out the questions for once.
And I have things going on that no one knows and like I forget about. So that's
Okay.
the life. Um Honestly, it's funny. I never thought I was going to go into sports. I was always just a big fan. Like I grew up in Syracuse, New York.
Okay.
Big like NCAA basketball fan. Big, every sport it's a college town.
Yeah.
And so was always kind of a fan. And I was actually doing college courses in high school through
Really?
RIT, through a program that like upstate New York has. And so I completed a couple years of college courses
Really?
in high school. Yeah. And I didn't have a normal like senior or honestly high school experience. I had a lot of labs and like I was in a lot of clubs and organizations as a leader. And so I was in class, but there was a lot of times that I was pulled to either, go to the lab and finish research on this antibiotic resistant strain of like a bacteria that we're developing that is technically allowed. I don't know.
Yeah.
But so I had an interesting high school experience, and then that led me to want to go into biomedical engineering.
Okay.
And so, funny enough, I got into college, and then eventually it just turned out, like I said, that it was not for me. I wanted to work in sports, but I really wanted to work in sports like democratization, rights, and media because I was a
Okay.
student athlete at the time. I was a PNC athlete at the game. My name was always up on the screen or on, this ticket and such. And we never saw residuals. Like the rowing
Yeah.
team is a team that operates in the red in athletic departments. So we don't bring in any money. We
Okay.
just cost money. And so of course we're not getting like little, you know, better locker rooms and things like that. That money
Yeah.
is going to like sports in the green. And so I realized that discrepancy so early on. And I realized like that's really what I wanted to do and what I wanted to fight for. So
Yeah.
everything I did was in the front office or affiliated with some organization like the New York Mets, Rutgers football, main events boxing. I got to work at MSG for a Sergey Kovalev fight. And like ran point on athlete relations and ran point on compliance and international
Okay.
compliance, all these things. And I was an undergrad.
Yeah.
And so I got so much experience that I was lucky enough to get a job at the New York Mets, did my sales experience, left without a plan, and just like jumped off into entrepreneurship. Um,
Okay.
and everything I've done has been just putting myself out there and, knowing that I wanted the middle of my career, let's call it, to look like I had an agency. I was a CEO. I was
Mhm.
doing good things for influencers and athletes. And so that was always like a goal. And so that was, how I navigated my career was making sure I mixed my, big names like New York Mets with like a small company that also got me job experience, that got me like
Okay.
real nitty gritty experience.
Mhm.
And so coming back to today, like that's all my career has been is just working in these different areas. Everything to me goes back to my mission and goes back to what I want to do in the future. And
Mhm.
got lucky and sold my agency in June.
Oh,
Thank
congratulations.
you. Yeah, I
Oh
got
Yeah.
yeah,
to
congratulations on that.
yeah, it was an experience.
Uh,
Got to say I got the first one out of the way. So like hopefully everything else is like smoother, easier, etc. And so, now it's been like finishing up some contracts, working with some colleagues that I didn't get to work with before. And hopefully I'm announcing next month, a new opportunity that I'm excited about too.
Oh, heck yeah. We're gonna have to get you back next month to tell us what's up.
Yeah.
Rachel, so you actually said you sold your agency. What like,
Yeah.
that means here's my question. Were you doing that well that they're like, hey, some companies like, hey, we gotta buy her up before she takes out the competition, pretty much.
It was an interesting time. I think business goes in waves, just like anything else.
Yeah.
There's like the little guys per se, like the boutiques of whatever industry, and then there comes the big guys, the monopolies who gobble everyone up. And it
Yeah.
just goes through a cycle. When people are unhappy with the status quo, they're going to come up with their own thing, and then that's going to blow up, and then it's going
Yeah.
to cycle again. And so, I got to ride that growth curve of
Okay.
during TikTok or not TikTok, during COVID when TikTok was
mhm.
big. That's when TikTok actually used me through the Learn on TikTok program to help,
Really?
create content and push it into the platform and make and launch Learn on TikTok. And so I got to ride that wave into building the agency and then rode that wave of influencer marketing, of athlete NIL, everything that, I worked in, got to ride that to like the peak of the agency. And funny enough, like you think that once you get into this job that like you always thought you wanted, that it's going to be like your favorite job. And funny
Yeah.
enough, after 4 years of talent management, I felt like it aged me A lot,
Really?
because I love working with people and I love being able to help them and really like ideate alongside of them and make connections and make things happen. And I think that
Yeah.
part was great. But the side of talent management that no one talks about is the 2 a.m. drives to the
Yeah.
airport to like go pick up your client who missed his flight, who's got like a 6 a.m. call time for a podcast.
Oh, wow.
And just the reliance per se, I think that people do put on you. And for someone like myself, I really care deeply about all my clients and like we're
Yeah.
really close. So I think it was hard when I didn't always get them those wins. And then on top of it, like we had started out with a few co-founders and ended up me just being the only founder, absorbing the rest of the agency by myself for a year or so.
Holy
And I think
smokes.
being a solo founder was hard for me. Like I am an introvert, but when it
Yeah.
comes to working, like I wanna like shoot the
Remember.
shit with people too. So
Yeah.
I want to like talk about like, oh my God, did you see this? Like, oh, like look at this.
Yeah.
You want to have that camaraderie, and I didn't really get that. And so,
Yeah.
all together around the time that all these companies like WME, CAA, they're like buying up all these other agencies, these boutique agencies. I
Yeah.
got a good offer from a colleague. And I'm a big believer in the universe, in being in my faith, just all those things. And I really truly believe that things happen for a reason.
Yeah.
So I kind of all that together was what motivated me to sell. And it's been cool. Since then I've gotten to be a founder who's had an exit, and that opened up a whole new community. I started advising like smaller startups who are
Okay.
going through the process of even like legitimizing themselves, of getting investments, which is interesting because I was actually fully self-funded the whole time. I never went
Really?
and got investments.
Yeah.
There was a point where I was going to, because I was building a tech product for the agency, and I was going through the motions and realized like, honestly, the pandering that you have to go through to get investments, like that's just not me. I'm a very straightforward, I'm a New Yorker. So I'm a very
Yeah. I
straightforward
can
person.
tell.
Like I'm going to tell you how it is. I'm
Yeah.
going to be honest. And,
I like
that side that comes with looking for favors or looking for money, it's just truly not me. And
You're
so
not a brown noser.
I've always been someone that, if I don't think that something's right for me or something's just not right at all, like I'm not going to participate. So all that being said, that led to me ended up selling. And then I've been completing contracts like since then with, so funny, like friends who have companies, or they're like, now in a company who wants to get a contract with me. I
Yeah.
just got back from Super Bowl.
Oh, wow.
It was
Amazing.
a whole experience. And now we're in the middle of All-Star Week. And like I'm like just now like planning out my schedule and getting like my clients and everyone lined up on their red carpets and like getting my event schedules. Just now, like I was on the phone with another colleague saying like he's like booked at these events. I'm like, okay, let me fill your time with this event here, this event
Oh,
there.
wow.
So has never stopped being hectic, but to be honest, like that's how I like it.
Okay. You like being in the, you're great under pressure.
Yeah, I'm really good. I was someone that like didn't like change. I have
Okay.
OCD. So like I didn't know back then, but now I know that like that's just not my forte. But
Yeah.
funny enough, I had this boss back when I worked for US Rowing, which is the rowing arm of Team USA.
Okay.
She was phenomenal. She was truly like, I don't even know if she knows to this day, like how big of an impact she had on my life, but just the way that she understood pressure and how she could apply it when needed. And she could deal with the stressors of other people freaking out and even like things going wrong. Notably, the 2016 Rio Olympics was the Olympics that I was working in. And we had trials for another, like a type of boat that competes at the Olympics on the men's side. And I was running a lot of stuff like for that trial in Princeton, New Jersey. And one of the things was volunteers. And like, of course, you need like 30 volunteers. Well, I had, credentialed like 50 or so.
Yeah.
Thinking that was enough. And we get there, and so many people just did not show up that day. I'm just letting you know.
Oh,
Rowing
wow.
is like a 7 a.m. sport, is not.
Yeah.
It's not for regular people.
Yeah.
So, we get there and like no one's there for volunteers. And like I'm out there on a boat. Luckily, I have a boating license. I'm out there on a boat, like trailing the referees, like, yay, good job. Like everything's
Yeah.
going well. Because we didn't have volunteers. And she pulled me to the side and was like, you need to ask for 100 volunteers, like double what you need, what you think, you double it.
Yeah.
And so her ability to work under pressure and like pivot and all those things, like it was such an amazing experience. Like she truly is the reason why, like I think the way I think now about how to like prepare and do those sorts of things.
Okay. I also want to say that she probably was in your end where she didn't get enough people before. She's learned from experience.
Oh yeah, learn from experience. I think even this past weekend at Super Bowl, like this was another one of my like. Doesn't matter how long you've been in the business. It doesn't matter how good you are. It doesn't matter who you surround yourself with, like there will always be problems. And this past Super Bowl was just riddled with problems. And I'm
I
happy to
bet.
say I got out of it. I got a
Hmm.
massage yesterday and like
Yeah.
we've moved on. We've closed
Yeah.
the books on
Yeah.
that. So
Yeah. Well, your agency, what was the name of your agency or what is the name of it?
yeah.
And you sold it. How
Mhm.
long did you have it? Did you say 4 years that you were working on it? Do you think it relieved? And this is a twofold question, maybe a threefold question. How long did you work on it? What's the name of it? And then when you sold it, did you did it take some of the pressure off of you,
Mm.
or you feel you have more pressure now?
Okay, so it was called Gen Agency. Originally, it was actually called Loot Agency, LOT, which is funny because there's a TV show out with the exact same font and the exact same logo. So like,
Okay.
but
Uh-oh.
it was called Gen Agency. If you look
Uh-huh.
on Netflix, there's a documentary called Great Americans.
Uh-huh.
We're in that documentary. We're the agency like that is the expert, and I'm the expert
Oh,
on like influencer marketing at the time.
Oh wow.
And so previous called Loot, now it's called Gen.
okay.
I had it for 4 years. Like I said, back in I think 2020 is when I was with the TikTok program, Learn on TikTok, helped them create the content, did some other consulting in different startups, early and late stage, about influencer marketing. And even actually at the time, working with athletes, working with athletic
Mhm.
departments, working with agents, things like that. And that led into the agency starting back in like 2021 officially. Had it for
Okay.
4 years. When I sold, I think I had also come to this point where I think I was like burning out at the end because being a
Mhm.
founder by yourself, self-funded,
Right.
all those things, having all these people relying on you. Like I said, it was time for me, and that was both a hard decision, but like you said, also a relief. I think I was ready to
Mhm.
close that chapter of being like a first time big entrepreneur and like having my first exit and moving on to the next thing of like, what do I really like? Because as a founder, you have to do everything. And so
Mhm.
after 4 years, I finally identified what I liked. And it's really like, I like operations. I am an operational person. I have OCD. I'm
Yeah.
very organized, color coded. Like I was mentioning Super Bowl, the night I got home, I spent an all nighter writing up a postmortem that is like 6+ pages, listed
Mhm.
out every single person I interacted with, positive, negative. It is color coded. I used a
Holy smokes.
GPT to go through like my successes and failures and what I need to work on. So I am very much like an operational person.
Mhm.
And so that's really what I've been doing since June to now is contracts where yes, I'm doing event staffing and getting people credentials and access, but a lot of it is operations. And so to answer I think like the second part, it really did help me, I guess, hone into what I like and what I'm good at, what I'm not good at, what I know I need help with. And even so, I'm a senator at Rutgers, my alma mater, and for alumni, but like in that also gives me access to the university as a whole and great people, but also great students. And so that opened the door for a lot of mentoring. I have a lot of like official mentees from a lot of different programs now, and I have a lot of unofficial mentees. And that's been a big thing that has come from having the agency and just having that experience in general is being able to help either this next generation come into the world of influencer marketing and sports media entertainment. As you know, it is something that you can't get into until someone gives you like someone
Yeah.
truly has to take your hand and pull you into it and bring you into their circle of people, and then
Mhm.
that circle will open you to more people. Then you establish yourself and you're able to move around, but it really is an industry you have to know somebody to get into. So now I'm in this place where a lot of what I'm doing is just trying to help that next generation get in.
Oh, oh, wow, wow.
You have a good
It-
heart.
yeah, you really do.
You
And
know,
I
I
just, yeah,
I
go
saw
ahead.
this one quote that was like,
Mhm.
be the woman that you wish you had or that
Yeah.
you wish you had known. And like there's other
Uh,
ways to say that, but I
okay.
think that really struck home for me because even today, like I can't really say that I have like a female that I look up to in the
Yeah.
sense of like they are that like number one top of the pyramid like person I'm aspiring to be. I think Emma Greedy, she's really interesting. I really love her. She's been one
Mhm.
that's come to me in like a couple years recently that
Okay.
I've really liked. But other than that, like I really didn't have anyone. I was in
Yeah.
so many different lanes and so many different companies, industries that I couldn't pinpoint someone. And I realized like if I can't find that in my own mentor in an
Yeah.
Mhm.
individual, like I wanted to be that for somebody else. So
Absolutely.
I love that.
that's like what I think a lot of what drives me nowadays.
Oh,
You're doing a good
wow.
job, it seems like.
You have
I got
done an
that. They got a
outstanding.
whole Notion page where I like go through that thing like every week, and I'm like, okay, this person didn't send me their resume. Like this
Yeah.
person I need to introduce to someone at NFL. Like, so it's a job in its own. But honestly, that's I think the thing that's like driving me lately.
Okay. Absolutely. Question I had for you. So you've helped lead, as I said, I have to go to this piece of paper because you're a very busy person. I don't usually have to do this, but you're very
No,
interesting.
I'm this
Very
is like
interesting.
my third cup of coffee. I did hear on NPR this morning that they said 2 to 3 cups of coffee and also caffeinated tea can be good for your brain. I don't know if that's true, but I'm going to continue drinking
I just
the
read
amount of
that. I
coffee that I
just heard that.
drink.
Okay, yeah, we have a brand right now that's we're working with that's been amazing called Vidai, who is just
Vidai.
absolutely yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, let me know because
By
I
die.
will drink
Oh,
them.
Mm-hmm.
I will promote them. I am a coffee
oh,
holic,
the
unfortunately.
CEO's on was on our the CEO was on our podcast
Sure.
last
Mm-hmm.
week.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
I mean, Super Bowl is here in LA, so official paperwork to be an official accredited NFL partner for Super Bowl is due in May. So
I'll let him know, and I can put you guys together too. He's an awesome guy. I'll send you his episode. Question to ask you: you've helped lead more than 2.7 million in collaborations. What does a successful brand creator partnership look like from the inside?
hmm, I think it's changed. It's funny when influencer marketing, I think it's been, in my opinion, around since 2010. So like mommy vloggers and such. I think 2020 was really when it started hitting that peak, that growth curve because
Yeah,
of COVID, of everyone like being home and being on their phones. And that really started like the whole formal monetization and
yeah,
brand deals. I think it's a number of things. I think, obviously they look for content creators that do have a larger audience because it's like the same idea of like, why do you even have a commercial to reach a lot of people? Why do you have
yeah,
a commercial during NFL? Because you want NFL fans to buy whatever you have or like use whatever you have. So why use an influencer? It is a quicker way to get to your target audience,
yeah,
and probably cost less money. And so, I understand that. I think people kind of, we're at that base level that we understand, but there's little things like, you as an influencer, you're a business. And
yeah,
so you need to act accordingly, and your page needs to be professional. Your responses need to be professional. If they ask for an edit, you need to do it, and you need to double
yeah,
check your work and all those things. I think as far as the actual partnership goes, like the success of how viral it goes, I think it really just depends on how true the content creator and the brand are to each other and to
yeah.
themselves, right? So like you're not going to have a talent, let's call it, like you're not going to have a vegan boxer promoting like American Pork Association. That doesn't make sense. And I've had a creator work with the American Pork Association. It was great.
Yeah,
They were a great collaboration.
yeah,
But it just doesn't make sense. And so I think that's where you're seeing a lot of people and even fans and customers, consumers pulling back on it, liking content creation and liking these like brand partnerships because so many of them are inauthentic. So many people are
yeah.
just trying to make money. And so I think now you're seeing more and more authentic partnerships. And I think you can tell by the way that they're spread, by the way they're talked about, and by how well you get engagement on them. And that means like comments, starting new conversations in the threads and things like that. That's where I see a lot of success.
Okay.
Well, right now with our audience, and we're branded
We
18.8
have
million.
18.8 million viewers and listeners in 76 countries and
Congratulations.
882 cities
Wow.
around the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we're hitting 49 U.S. states. We're hitting 49 U.S. states in the United
Okay.
States.
What is the
Yeah.
state that you're missing?
Yeah.
Honestly, I think it might be Alaska.
Okay.
That's
Okay. I mean,
Alaska.
there's
Yeah.
influencers in Alaska. So.
Yeah, but we're doing really well, and I had a strategic plan behind that.
Yeah. But
Okay.
what I want to mention about that, because we have many high schools and universities they're trying right now to build sustainable NIL programs.
Mhm.
What advice would you give them?
NIL is so interesting. And I say this because, I think I have a unique perspective, and there's a lot of women and men and
Mm-hmm.
people who have this perspective as well. But I
Mm-hmm.
got lucky to be able to be a college athlete, and
Mm-hmm.
I worked for the athletic department, and I worked for a football team in college.
Awesome.
And I've worked in the sports leagues, et cetera, in professional sports. And I've worked on influencer side. So I am brands. I've literally worked
Mm-hmm.
on all sides. And so I think that gives me a unique perspective. Like I said, there's a lot of people who do that too. Shout out
Mm-hmm.
to, Sam Green. She's one of my favorite people in NIL. We're good friends and we always support each
Mm-hmm.
other. And so I think there's a lot of different things that need to be done in NIL. I think there's regulation that's needed. I think there needs to be some sort of salary cap. There is on like the official, athlete salary from the university side. But I think as far as like this free market goes, I think it's great, but I think there needs to be some more accountability on it. The NIL Go system is not as good as it should be. It's too difficult for student athletes, parents, lawyers, agents, brands to really navigate right now. It's too slow. So, with that being said, there are a lot of issues. The things that I think are important about NIL is just giving these athletes the opportunity if they want to go into it. And if you give them the opportunity, you have to give them the education to be able to leverage that opportunity, but also do it safely. And I think that's where the miss is right now, is that a lot of athletic departments, Syracuse, namely Rutgers, I've worked with them and, they brought me in for things and it's gone very well. They bring in other people who are more versed in legally a representative in like financial literacy and things like that. And all of those things are needed. I think any athletic department to put their student athletes in the best opportunities, they need to educate them. I'm a big believer in there needing to be like a formal education course that's offered to student athletes. They have some courses that they give out and they require at some universities for athletes. I think there needs to be more, and there needs to be more of a centralized one, like a more, this is the widely accepted NCAA topics that need to be taught. And by official people of XYZ. So education. I think also any of these like content creation sessions, partnerships like Sam Green with AthleteCon, those need to be pushed. And they need to be formalized per se, and athletes participating in them. And so this is the interesting part. About only 10% of every athletic team actually wants to participate in NIL. It's not what everyone thinks. Like, it's not everyone wants to do it. If you think about it, you're an athlete, right? Think about, if you were a student at a university, like how much time you spend in class, and then you're in clubs and organizations. Now add that on to a student athlete who's got, like I did, 2 practices a day and also on the weekend. And then on top of it, I also had extra practices, air quote, that, I was overweight for my position, a coxswain who's supposed to be 110 pounds. And I was not, because I'm 5'2.5", like bone, but I had to have extra sessions to like try to keep my weight off. And then on top of it, like I was in 6 clubs and organizations. Like I was literally waking up at 6 o'clock, going to practice from 7 to 9, going to classes, like going to my clubs and organizations during the day, like, whatever, student government, like Special Olympics, things like that. And then going back to my practice and then going back to my clubs into the evening and then doing it all over again while in between I'm at study hall trying to get my work done. I can't imagine like my schedule adding an NIL, because NIL realistically, when you're trying to get these brand deals, would be you researching what's currently trending, you building out your brand on paper, and then transforming that into captions while you're also filming that content, editing the content, posting it, having some sort of business plan there. Getting an LLC through a company like Taylor Brands, getting an LLC, formalizing that, finding a manager, researching brands. And then if you have a brand deal, you're filming, you're making the draft, you're getting it approved, you're getting the video approved, you're posting it, you do the ad usage. Like it is a lot. And so these content creators, that are making massive money, it's their full-time job. So imagine putting that on a student, psychologically immature athlete at 18 years old. It is like, I cannot imagine the damage like that we're doing to these kids right now, where they have so much pressure on them. And so that's why only 10% of athletes on teams actually participate or want to participate in NIL. So it's not as crazy as everyone says, but it's something that, like, if you still want to help that 10%, or even like provide value per se to athletes coming in, even if they don't want to do it now, maybe they want to do it in the future. It is a big recruiting question. It's, to me, it's the education, it is the outside opportunities, it's the connections, and it's honestly bringing in people like myself or Sam Green or Chrissy Dosh, like Maddie Walsh, all these people to come in and help, because we're skilled in like that side of business because we've been in it.
Oh,
absolutely.
Well, that's great. I see you partnered with brands like Coca-Cola, NerdWallet, Morgan & Morgan, and Netflix. What makes a creator stand out during brand selection?
So back to the original point I made is that at the end of the day, like our brand chooses a talent because they have an audience that follows them on social media that is identical or very, very similar to what their ideal customer is, right? So Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola is notoriously marketing towards families a little bit younger. And they're very clear in like what they believe in and what they don't allow. Vitamin water, on the other hand, is a little bit more Gen Z culture. They're very welcoming, very open, very how do I say this? Uh like approving of things.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
so, as a result, the talent that they work with reflects that they have the same values, they have the same audience. And so that is the first thing that they look at. Second
Mm-hmm.
to that is engagement. Back in the day, we used to look at only views. We looked at engagement slightly, but nowadays, like engagement is the most important on these platforms like TikTok, Instagram, etc. The most important thing that they look for is actually your post getting shared to other people. Because the way that you look at that is if I see something that's funny on Instagram, right? Like I'm going to share
Mm-hmm.
that to someone because it's funny. If I see
Yeah.
something I want to buy, I'm going to send it to my partner. Or I'm going to send it to, my friend or like someone that I'm like, oh, you should get this. That means that whatever it is so important, so valuable that
Mm-hmm.
somebody is like talking about you without you being in the room. That's
Yeah.
real value. And so that's what brands are looking for. So they're going to look for high engagement numbers. They're going to look for all those things. And then just in general, like professionalism,
Yeah.
quality, even the manager that represents you, like that person is, someone that should also have relationships and connections.
Mm-hmm.
And they should operate in a very professional and like relationship like way, similar to like when we got on the call, you're like, oh, I like you, like
Yeah.
that's like the way that you as a talent and as a manager should come off to people is like, oh, I like you, I want to work with you again, because so much of the business is repeat business.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you see, first off, I have to say, Rachel, I'm a New Yorker at heart, so
Oh yeah,
I tell it
if
like it
you're if
is.
you're from the Northeast, like we can get along, because
Then we're perfect. Even though
when I first
I'm
got
from
to LA,
Virginia,
I
but
was like, oh, we don't look at people
oh,
when we cross the street.
first off, I've no one's ever waved to me or said thank you when I've let them
No, they
in.
just like keep their eyes down. I'm like, oh,
Yeah, I
you're
say
real
hello to
confident
people in
in
the
my
morning.
driving abilities.
Seriously, I can't tell you the times I've walked and be like, hey, and people look at me like I'm crazy. I open the door for people, don't say
Yep.
anything. It's a culture
It's
shock.
yeah, it's a totally different culture. For anyone
Yeah.
that's like trying to come to LA and you're from the Northeast, just don't expect it.
Oh no, I'm
And
an East
it's
Coaster all the way.
it's honestly like New Yorkers, I had times where you just kind of like, not my business. That's a very
Yeah,
Northeast New Yorker thing. It's not my business. But in
yeah,
LA, it's like it is my business. And on top of it, like honestly, the whole culture of this city and the whole business of this city is on entertainment. And so
yeah,
the culture is very much like, who do you know and how can you help me? And
yeah.
so like I'll even
Sad.
go to, movie premieres and the bartender is like, oh, so what do you do? Because actually I'm not a bartender. I am a stand-up comedian, or I am da, da, da. And they are, but like,
Yeah,
every conversation comes back to what do you do? Who do you know? How can you help me? It is
I
a very
can't stand it.
transactional
I can't
culture out
stand it.
here, which
Yeah,
honestly I totally get. But there
yeah,
is that side of niceties. And I truly believe, after the Super Bowl, it taught me too, like how reciprocal business relationships are.
yeah,
But I operate in like a good way. Like, even Super Bowl just ended, like I said, and I'm about to send out some gift cards because
yeah,
some things were not as smooth as they should have been. Some people said some things they shouldn't have. And so I'm going to
yeah.
go play a little crisis management. I got some massages, or coupons and gift cards for some massages, some
Okay.
Starbucks, some Uber Eats. Like,
Yeah.
it's just part of the business.
Well, sorry, mom. Your microphone's actually off. Oh, sorry, Rachel. I did want to say that
Okay.
I'm with you on that. Like, I'm the East Coaster to the core, always have been, and I am.
Mhm.
I don't get, I've never been about what I can get from people. I'm a genuine
Yeah.
person. The one thing I do notice a difference in LA, it is, hey, what do you do? All that kind of stuff. I never hear that question on the East Coast. Yes, I
You
am an
don't. It's
actor.
like,
I've
oh,
done
where are
all
you
that, but
from? If you got an
yeah,
accent, they're like, oh, where are you from? And you're
yeah,
like,
and
oh, I'm
that's
from the
it.
South, like, or, whatever it is. And like, oh, okay, that's what's up. Like, where's the
Yeah,
rest of your family from? What do you do comes up, but it doesn't consume the conversation. It
not at all.
doesn't like consume the relationship per se. And so it was such a culture shock. Honestly,
Yeah,
I did not like LA for the first whole year I was here. I'm also kind of a hermit. Like, I only go outside for like I walk in the mornings because I have
yeah,
to, because like once you get over the age of 30, they're like, you gotta walk, you gotta do all the
yeah,
stuff. And we sit at our desks, so they're like, you need to stand. So I do
yeah.
that. But other than that, like I truly don't go outside unless it's for work, because I'm outside once a week for
Yeah.
work. So to me, that's enough. not healthy.
Absolutely. And
But
the price is expensive.
say
So you
that to
gotta,
say, like, my only interactions are really like business focused. And
okay.
so I've kind of gotten accustomed to it. Like, this is okay, this is our conversation. This is what we're talking about. Cool, fine. You know, when you use it and you get used to it, but to your point, it's a totally different culture.
Absolutely.
Mhm. Well,
Go ahead, Mom. Yeah, you're good.
I wanted to see how you rest your mind, and you said you walk, because I can see that you are involved with so much. And
Yeah.
how do you bring that downtown? I call it downtown
I like that.
downtime
Oh,
into
downtime,
your
downtown.
life,
Okay.
because yeah, I can see that you're involved so much, in the mind is steady going. And when you said color coding, I thought about myself. I used to handle the world and
Mm-hmm.
with my business, working for the
Yeah.
companies I work for, and I color code territories, just color code them. So I would know where that belongs in the world and where that belongs in the world.
Like my
And that's how,
pens. I've got
yes,
erasable.
that's me.
Like
Will you
Pilot
pull those
needs to
over?
sponsor me.
Rachel,
This is so funny.
That you
Like, look at
color
my
code
Rachel,
your
move
pens.
this way a
voters.
little
Look
bit.
at, like, I've got so many like documents over here. These are color coded too.
Yes, yes,
Sticky
yes,
notes. Like,
yes.
my calendar is color code. Pilot needs to sponsor me because I only use Pilot erasable Frixion pens only. It's like terrible. I really
Well,
need a partnership.
listen,
Somebody partnership with me. But
all
I
our
yeah, I'm
interviews.
everything's color coded.
Go ahead,
Um,
go ahead,
you know
finish
what it
that.
is? It's funny. Like, I don't really have that downtime. And I know that that's not like great. And the reason I know that is actually the first year I started the agency, we had
Mm-hmm,
an event with a fintech company, and it was our first like huge, huge event. It was a creator house. And if
mm-hmm,
you know anything about hype houses and stuff, like they can be very hectic. And so, you know, that was like the first big activation we did in the first year of the agency. And we had all these creators living in a house together for like a week, going to events and such. And it was hectic because, you know,
mm-hmm.
kids being with other kids is like, ooh, I dare you, and things like
Yeah.
that. And then also getting up, like, they were calling me like a dorm mom because I'd be like, all right, starting the day, we've got interviews here, we've got the bus picking us up here, we've got, and
Mm.
a documentary crew was following us that whole time.
Oh
So we
wow.
were like on our P's and Q's. And so it was so much stress. I actually somehow got like an infection here and it migrated. You have like a cavity here that's like open in your face.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and so the infection moved there, and I had a
Mm-hmm.
cyst in my face, and like,
Holy
I think it's on
smokes.
my Instagram. My whole left side of my face was like blown out 2 times, so it was like out to here,
What?
and it was all red. And I actually pinched the nerve in my face, and I was getting close to like that nerve dying off,
Uh-huh.
Holy
and
smokes.
I was in so much pain. I went to the hospital, and then as soon as I got to the hospital, I went into sepsis, and so it turned
Mm.
into this whole thing. And so, you know, I had to go get the antibiotics. They had to do everything. I ended up getting surgery. And
Wow.
literally that I couldn't smile off this left side of my face. Like, it was like very crooked. I didn't have feeling there for a little bit. It took like
Mm-hmm.
2 weeks. I was bedridden. And like, for someone that had just started a company, that was a big deal. And so,
Yeah.
you know, I'm literally on the phone with my co-founder at the time as I'm going under the knife, going through anesthesia, like, okay, I will be awake in 2 hours. Call me in 2 hours. And like,
Oh,
Yeah.
the doctor's like, give me the phone. Give me the phone. And so,
Yeah.
and then I was bedridden. So I'm like in
Yeah.
meetings on my desk, like camera off, but I'm like talking and they're like, why do you sound funny? I'm like, I just got surgery on this side of my face. Like, just, it's fine. Just give me up. Like, I'll be back on camera. And
Yeah.
so I never even rested in that sense. But
mm.
like looking back at it, it's like I literally almost worked myself to death because
Yeah.
sepsis
That.
is serious. And so now I look at, you know, working in life a little bit differently. And I do find
Good.
things like I have a cat, yay. So like I have little things that like take me away from not necessarily working. I do get up like every 45 minutes and like walk up and down the stairs to go get coffee
Yeah.
or liquid. I'm like that meme that's like a drink for caffeine, a drink for like water, and then like a drink for fun.
Yeah.
So, you know, I'm always like changing those up.
Yeah.
But it did make me look at it differently. Like, I do spend time with my nieces who I love. You can
Oh,
see this
nice.
beautiful drawing that they have made
Oh,
up
I
on
actually
my
can't
work
see it all the
things,
way. Is it
that they
close
can see
enough?
on my work things that
Okay,
they've
I'll
done.
check it out. We actually can't see it, but I would
Yeah,
love to.
how
it's
much
gorgeous.
sleep do
There's
you
like
get?
this whole
Yeah, I want
whiteboard
to
of
ask.
like my business things. I've
Uh-huh.
got like this corner that you can see. Everything else is like a children's picture of like, I think that's a penguin. It's probably me though. So
Okay.
like, you know, but like those are the other things like I find joy in. And honestly, like, I'm a workaholic, and I've come to
Mm.
the point in life where I'm not apologetic about that anymore. Like, I
Mm.
love what I do
Yeah.
because I'm helping people. And,
Mhm.
I've just always been a person that just loves to work, loves to do things for other people. And so it just fits really well with my personality and like
Yeah.
what I guess like my business has become. And so I'm not apologetic about being a workaholic anymore, but I am a lot more careful about just
Yeah.
overworking myself.
Well,
Absolutely,
that's
you have
good.
to.
Well, I was asking a question. How much sleep do you get per day? Because based on you're going, 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 and I want our
Yeah.
young people to see that you can keep on going, and then
Yes.
you might, when you start, I guess, getting symptoms.
Yeah.
Symptoms.
100%. Like you can tell
Exactly.
you're tired. You need coffee. Your face gets puffy. My body gets puffy.
Yeah, the
I
body.
feel it. I do like the little like gua
Mm-hmm.
sha to my face, and I can see like the difference in, being stressed and being not. Like I just got back
Mm-hmm.
from Super Bowl. Like I said, it was not the best experience. And I was
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
talking to someone about how high my cortisol levels must be out of stress. And so, I think as we get older, we're more aware of these things. Our body does not bounce back like it used to.
It definitely
When
does
I
not.
first started my company, let me tell you, I would work and I had a studio. So like it was just that whole thing was just work, work.
Yeah.
And so I would work until I physically fell asleep out of exhaustion.
Oh wow.
Or I would work until like 10, 11 o'clock at night after working by like 8, 9 a.m. and go to
Mm-hmm.
the gym and do my workouts. Cause back then I was working out like 3 to 5 times a week because I was just coming out of college, just coming
Yeah.
out of being an athlete.
Mm-hmm.
And so I would work out like 10, 11 o'clock at night and then go to sleep and then wake up at 8 a.m. Like I was terrible with my self-care before.
Yeah.
And I just felt like at that time, like that was what I needed to do to get where I am today. And
Yeah.
there's a level of truth in that, like, you do need to go above and beyond. You do need to work hard. You do need to really, really care and protect your business. But there's a way to do it that was better than what I did. That
Yeah.
isn't
Mm-hmm.
that. And where, you hang out with your friends and you take breaks and you go on
Yeah.
walks and you work out and you drink water
Mm-hmm.
and, cut back on processed sugars and all those things. And
Yeah.
looking back, I could have done things differently. I
Mm-hmm.
personally know that, I was able to get through it, but I'll never say that that was like the best thing I ever did. And
Oh.
that going back, there's a lot of things I would have done differently as far as like go for more walks, more self care, probably cut down on coffee because, you're not supposed to, but and
Yeah.
it's okay this morning. So
um, so I have a couple of questions here. Make sure I hit. What inspired you to become a senator at Rutgers University, and how does it connect with your work, business, and work? So I talk fast. Let me back it up.
we're from New York. Listen, I
Yeah,
normally talk faster. My
exactly.
publicist told me to slow down.
Yeah, it's so you work with your senator at Rutgers University. How does that connect to your work in business and sports?
It doesn't, it doesn't. I am a big believer in giving back. Like I said, I'm in my faith, but I also
Yeah.
believe in the universe. And I really do think that, once you get to this place where you have the ability to give back, and I think we all have at any place in time have the ability
Yeah.
to give back, that you should, that good things will come from it.
Yeah.
And I also, look back at my time at Rutgers of course it was problematic. I was an athlete. And of course, like, we were in the news for this, that, and whatever happened that, and of course, like there's things that like, oh my gosh, I don't love the busing system at Rutgers. Oh my gosh, the textbooks are too expensive. But in general, like I credit Rutgers and my time as an athlete and the people that I met as truly like the foundation of who I am today. Like even, my arm tattoo, my sleeve is red. It's
Oh, I
Rutgers
see.
red because like I really, really do look at that like such a huge foundational part of my career and like myself. And so I wanted to be more involved. I was always overly involved as a student. And so, the Senate reached out to me and asked if I wanted to be a representative of the alumni. There's over 500,000 alumni constituents. And so it's a big
Okay.
group to be over. I got nominated and I accepted it. I have served as a chair and a co-chair of committees and constituency groups. I was just recently nominated to go to be on the advisory board of all alumni outside of the
Oh
Senate
wow.
and stay on the Senate. And
Congratulations.
I'm hopefully gonna take that and just have a little bit more care and hands over and in decisions for the alumni. I think that in general, universities can do a lot better with contacting their alumni about
Yeah.
things that they saw and things they think should change and, how they see their university and what their university is involved in these days, because
Okay.
people do invest money. The whole $20.5 million salary cap is actually almost all donations from donors. And so,
Wow.
of course, those donors and even alumni like want to have a say over where that money goes and how it's used. And even so, like this is a university that, everybody asks, where did you go to college? They represent you and you represent them. And so I believe that you should have some level of say, or that you should care about like what that university is doing, especially in the, political climate that we are, not to go into politics, but you're hearing about these universities that are going through things and people in general. And so I'm a big believer in, understanding the world and having a perspective on it and taking a stand. And so those are kind of all the reasons that contribute to why I did it.
Yeah.
I can't really say that it does anything really in my career. It's a part of my career. And honestly, like it's been keeping my relationship with Rutgers.
Absolutely.
And it is a funny talking point. Some people will be like, Senator Brown. I'm like, oh God, please don't. Like,
Yeah.
I'm just a little person, like in this meeting, like, and also too, the Senate's and Board of Governors, all these constituency groups of universities with governing power, or like public, awareness, they tend to be older. They tend to be not people of color. And so I am the youngest non-student senator in that in the group in the Senate, and also probably one of the few I would say honestly non-black people of color that are in there. There are not many Asians. There are not many Latinas. There are some like black and brown people, but it's very small. And so I really look at that as, if it's not me and no one else is going to do it, then I guess it's going to be me. And so I'm going to talk up. I'm going to, when NIL does come up, because, all people who are not athletes say, why are we spending all this money on the athletic department? Well, the athletic department is bringing in the most money. So like,
they are.
And like, I know how much each of these universities makes because it's public information actually. But say that to say that, I like to educate people on NIL and like the reasons why athletic departments do the things that they do, because I was part of one. And even so, like, I think it's, they say one thing in the Senate of, oh, we should be doing this. And I can say, hey, like I've been on both sides and can tell you why we do this or why we shouldn't do this. This is just my opinion. And, I think, that's been a big part of even learning for me in my career and just in general, understanding more and having a better perspective.
Yeah, I love hearing that. That's why Brandon is, and I'm so glad he's works with his university, USC. He is an adjunct.
I work with USC too.
Yeah, the real USC, my dear.
The real USC,
oh God,
University of South Carolina.
Go Gamecocks.
We had this conversation about UT.
That's the first USC.
Because I have a friend that works
twisted
there.
Out there, but that's the first, and he's an adjunct professor there, and so in the journalism department. And so I love how he gives back to his university, and it's so how the world sees USC, University of Southern California. But we keep having to remind people, University of South Carolina was the first USC. So I had to make you laugh about that and come back to what it really is.
You need like a background on your Zoom camera.
But with that,
I do. Yeah. Oh, you can't see this?
No, I see that one. I mean, your Mama Rush needs like USC is the real South Carolina.
Oh yeah, she does. She does. Yeah, she absolutely does.
Well, anyway, Brandon, you want to get to lightning round?
Yeah. First off, you are always welcome back on this show. You've been absolutely outstanding. I like you as a person too. You're really funny.
And you have a world of knowledge.
Yeah,
a world of experience.
Honestly, I listen to 6 podcasts a day and probably upwards of 6 documentaries a month.
Okay.
I'm like a little over the top with it, but I'm a big believer in, I am in so many different areas, and like I'm in politics a little bit. Like I'm in influencer marketing, I'm in athletes, I'm at Super Bowl, I'm talking to someone at iHeartRadio, I'm talking to someone at, and so I feel like I need to be really, really educated on everything going on. Whether or not I have an opinion is up to me, but just at least understanding the world. And even when people ask me questions like you're asking about, like, why do you do things and things like that? Like I like to, not say like, oh yeah, sure, I know what that is, but not know what it is.
Yeah.
I'm a big believer in education and the importance of it. And so it's,
I do.
Okay. Well, I love what you're doing. I also want to say this too before you could totally rock short hair and it look awesome, by the way. Let's go what you got going on. I'm just saying you can totally rock.
Yeah, I have like it's up in a bun, it's dirty.
I saw that. I thought it was short at first, but that's all I was like, well, you could rock.
It's what? That's been a thing too. Like I always naturally had like long black hair, and then I got older, it started turning brown. And then I think like a lot of Asians like to change their hair color. And like I had a phase in college where I let my roommate dye my hair purple. I dyed
Okay.
my hair a little red. Now I'm kind of getting into, even as you get older, you realize like what colors and what hairstyles look good on you. And so I'm
Yeah.
going through that phase right now. Actually, funny enough, Ray, the actress from K-pop Demon Hunters, the singer,
Oh.
her hairstylist is my hairstylist.
Oh wow, no
Now.
way.
And so just got my hair cut. And she was like, I was like, I think she's like, I've got you. And just boop, 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 like in 10 minutes did my
Oh,
hair. So
nice.
like shout out to her.
Yeah.
She's gonna be my hairstylist now.
Hey, you got to find a good one. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a lightning round. It can be one off. It's just one off
Okay.
questions. You can answer them however you see fit. Describe yourself in one word.
Vision.
I like it. Most important book you've read.
Ooh. Oh my gosh, why am I blanking on that? Okay, I'll say right now, The Psychology of Money, I think it's called, is what I'm
Okay.
reading right now.
All right,
But The
that
Great
works.
Gatsby is my favorite book, and F. Scott Fitzgerald is my favorite author. So
Really old sport. Favorite way to reset when things get busy. So your favorite way to reset when things get busy.
I think have a girl venting session.
Okay, I can dig it. A brand you think is doing NIL the right way right now.
Ooh. Dick's Sporting Goods just released a really, really cool activation where they're actually using staff and people who work for the company as ambassadors. It's not necessarily like NIL, but I just think that's such a great way to give back and to like, I'm almost motivate people to be like, wow, like I want to be good enough as an employee and good enough as like a little influencer on the side for my company to want to put money back into me. I really like that.
Yeah, I love that too. What's one trend in the creator world that you're excited about?
Going back to long form content, I think.
Gosh.
And also the idea that like content just doesn't have to look pretty. I really like these like quick moments of like, hey, let me take you into my life.
Yeah. Okay. I just had to say one thing, and it just bothers me because I'm an actor. Because I act, but then I also work in. I also have a broadcast journalism degree. Is I can see people's eye. It's a little thing because I'm an actor, but I can see when people are clearly reading scripts every single time.
Oh yeah, you can see the way like their eyes bounce. And now
Yeah.
they've got this new thing for the MacBook that like it'll put the teleprompter words up there. I'm not a teleprompter person.
Yeah.
I stumble over my words often, so I'm not
Okay.
that.
I'd rather have that, but yeah, that's the one thing.
I'm just, what comes out of my mouth is exactly what's going on in my head. So
Hey, don't change it for anybody. I like what you're doing.
Mhm.
Your go-to motivational quote.
I think what I was saying before, like be the woman or be the person that you needed.
Okay. Amen. If you could mentor one young athlete or creator, what would be your first lesson?
Ooh. Honestly, I have 15 mentees right now, influencers, athletes, aspiring business professionals, founders, etc. I think what I've realized is, and I'm just going to draw this from Super Bowl, is like protect your brand. You work so hard to cultivate your brand, and I'm talking about myself too after this weekend, and I keep mentioning it, but it was a learning experience.
Yeah.
And I've been to many Super Bowls, so just protect your brand. You work so hard, and you stay so true to yourself, especially someone like myself, where my brand is so much of who I really am.
Yeah.
Not everyone is going to be for you. Not every client is the right client for you. Not everyone is a good representation of you and your brand and even your morals. And so that's something that I really learned this, relearned. I'm constantly relearning things in new ways. I'm being shown like, yeah, you didn't learn your lesson apparently. So we're just going to throw you this one. And so I think that's a big thing that I relearned and reemphasized to myself after this week. It's just, again, the importance of like protect your brand and stay true to yourself.
I'm so glad I know, Brandon, we're going to go on and finish these questions, but I wanted to say I appreciate that about you saying protect your brand. I've seen companies that will have to work harder later, and they've been around from the beginning, but they come in and they mess it up, and then they have to clean it up in the end with more money thrown after the brand.
These crisis management publicists are making a lot of money right
now.
Yeah,
they are. And that's why I like with integrity and ethical values, if you really instill that from the top, start at the top instilling it. And if it's not built into that top person, get rid of them because they can ruin, it filters down.
It
It
does. It
rocks
really
from the
does.
head
Like the
all the
leader in
way
your company
down.
is always like they
Yes.
set culture. And that's something that,
Yes.
for me, I was really big on in my company with my
Mhm,
staff was like mentorship, honesty,
mhm,
and actually mental health. I was very adamant
mhm,
on like if you need to use PTO for mental health, you don't have to tell me. You really don't.
Oh
You
wow.
can just
mhm.
take it, no questions asked, because I've been
That's
there.
excellent.
I currently constantly struggle with mental health because of my OCD and just because of the quickness and the complicatedness of like my career.
Mhm,
And so like I'm a big advocate for mental health and just again top
mhm.
down leadership. I think it's really important, like you
I
said.
agree with that.
I'm so glad you said that, Rachel. We had that as a question, mental health, in there, and I didn't get a chance to hit it, but you hit it
Yeah.
on the back burner.
I've been there
Yeah,
many days of like, today's a good day, today's not a good day, and I'm going to drink 5 cups of coffee.
absolutely. That's why you got to drink Vita. I'm going to send you that stuff.
Oh, and Liquid IV. Liquid IV sponsor me because I was out there with all these celebrities and athletes and, all my clients. I was like, do you need a Liquid IV? Do you need,
Yeah,
what are they?
Mhm,
An Uncrustable? Do you want an Uncrustable? Because, like,
yeah. No,
mhm.
that's smart. Actually wrote Liquid IV. They're one of the companies I wrote.
Mhm.
One thing people would be surprised to learn about you.
Oh, my Korean name is actually Ducky Mang. So I have like a pet name as my real like Korean first name is
Mhm.
Ducky. So
Ducky Maeng. I
yeah,
like
no
that.
one calls me that. My high school team, my high school rowing team did call me Ducky. It was like a little pet
Okay.
name because,
Do you
rowers, they're like 6 foot and
mhm.
I'm like 5'2". So they're like,
Yeah.
oh, you're so cute.
Do you
And so that
still
was my pet
still know
name.
your family? Not to cut you off there, but do you? I'll say that again. That
Mhm.
last sentence.
About Ducky.
Uh,
There's.
Your
yeah, that
friends
just
call you.
that. Oh, my friends just call me Rachel. I'm not a nickname person, so Rachel. But my high school rowing team was allowed to call me Ducky, and it was like more endearing.
Can you speak your language?
Okay, so I actually have a closed adoption, and actually, this would be something that not many people know about me. I'm open
Yeah, I don't know
about it,
about
and
that
I
either.
talk
Okay.
about it, but people never pry. Um, I have a closed adoption. I was born in South Korea to a
Mhm,
young mother, and she decided to give me up. I moved into a foster home. My American parents adopted me, and months later, I came to America.
mhm,
I'm naturalized. I'm a citizen, so like
mhm.
ICE, like U.S. citizenship, and I can prove it. But
Yeah.
I sorry,
You're
um,
good.
I grew up and always had a closed adoption, and like my parents are my parents. I will
Mhm,
never say otherwise. Like they raised me.
mhm,
Um, I've recently decided to go back to Korea and also visit Japan because, like, why would you not?
Yeah.
mhm,
I'm there for the food, but I
Yeah.
do want to contact my adoption agency. They have a process where you write a letter and they'll give it to the birth mother or parents,
Oh
whoever
mhm,
wow.
is still, and see if they'll contact you. And
mhm,
that's the only chance that you have to contact them. They won't give you any information. They'll just try to get them in contact with you. If they say,
mhm.
no, I can't go through that channel, I have to go hire a PI.
Okay.
And so soon I'll be going through that process because I'm curious.
Amazing.
Not
Yeah.
necessarily that I think that, she will meet me because this was so long ago. And you never know,
Mhm,
like someone could either have passed away or
Yeah.
they could have
mhm.
moved on, or that could have been a result of like not a good relationship. So I don't hold any ill will. I'm just curious, like, what does she look
Mhm.
like? What am I going to look like? And also,
Yeah.
like,
Yes.
where was, the hospital I was born in, the city? Like, let me go taste the food from that town and things like that. And so I think it's
Yeah.
important for my kids too, future kids,
Yeah.
to know like where they came from, and that'll
Yeah.
be a trip that I'll take with them someday too. I want them
Okay.
to know both sides of their family, and I think it's important.
Oh, that's right. How
Absolutely.
old were you when you were adopted?
I think a few months old, and I think I came over like a few months later.
Oh, okay.
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 Yeah, so
Okay.
I don't speak Korean. I only speak English. So I do feel bad when I go places. Everyone is always like, "Oh my gosh, like what are you?" First of all, and I'm very sarcastic. I'm like American, and they're like, "Oh, where are you from?" Like
I'm
Syracuse, New
human.
York. And like the questions stop there. They're like, "No, I'm good. Never mind." Like, as you
Yeah.
should be.
Yeah.
But no, I'm yeah, I don't speak anything but English. There was a time I knew a little bit of French. Thank you, high school French, but like that was it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Awesome. You were funny. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
I'm a
I'm
fan.
sarcastic. I'm a New Yorker.
Hey, I love it. I don't change for anybody. Your dream collaboration, whether it with an athlete, a brand, or a creator, or if you
Okay,
want to do all three, whatever, it's up to you.
I
Your
know.
dream.
I can't really say athlete creator. Honestly, it's an interesting space to be in. Like I have so many friends and family now that are like, have status. And so it's kind of like that, that level is a little bit lost on me as like awestruck, but like more of like respect of like, I know how hard you work. So I don't
Yeah.
really have that like favorite thing for myself though. Pilot Frixion pens. I need a sponsorship.
Okay.
I need a Notion sponsorship. I need any coffee, like coffee, hit me up. I need you. And maybe some skincare, some hair care. Like I'm Asian, so we care. Like we spend a lot of time on skincare. Like I'm gonna be
Yeah.
out here looking like I'm 30 when I'm 50. So
Mhm.
I need a skincare sponsorship, like CeraVe or like whatever it is. Please hit me up. Those are the things I would say. So
Remember,
Absolutely.
genetically, people of color are people. We our
Asian
skins
don't raisin. What are
naturally
you saying?
glow,
Exactly.
Like
And
so
black
we
don't
look like
crack.
we're 30
exactly.
when we're
I tell people
50.
those
We
two
look
things
like
all the
we're
time.
40.
Yeah.
It's just in our genetic
Yeah.
makeup,
Oh
which is
yeah. People
beautiful.
always like give me the hi sweetheart. And then they're like, oh
Yeah.
my gosh. Like, they say all the things that they shouldn't say when you meet them about
Yeah.
like what you look like. And for me, it's definitely, people are trying to compliment you, but they should not be saying things that they're not supposed to be saying about your age and like how you look. But I do
And
have
that's
nice skin. I work really hard to wash my face and like use like all the things you're supposed to use for your face. And so I got a little acne going on right now because the stress of Super Bowl. But yeah, I need a skin partnership.
Okay.
that's true.
We dig it. I think you need to
This
be in K-pop Demon Hunters Part 2, to be honest with you. They just need to have you
Honestly,
as a character.
no, I know way too much about that movie because my nieces, as like that whole like this whole Gen Z generation, Gen Alpha,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, they're so obsessed. They went as it for Halloween.
Oh,
And so
awesome.
I actually I found on Etsy a 3D printer designer and I had them design like the little K-pop demon, like the little lights that all the fans have. So they got
Yeah.
those. And
Amazing.
then we all went as like characters. They were the two girls out of the three. The parents were like the manager. I was a fan, and it was really cute. And I make my own nails. So I don't know if you can see them, but yeah,
mm,
I
Oh,
do
nice. Wow.
I do
Okay,
my own
beautiful.
nails.
Yeah.
And so I do little press on nails for my nieces because they're so
Okay.
girly. I made K-pop Demon Hunter ones.
Oh,
So
nice.
I backwards and forwards know that movie way too well.
Yeah, I watched it in England. I was in England for work for a month, so I watched it with my friend's daughter, but I'm his uncle.
Okay.
I think I said that right. Yeah. He's a
Yeah.
great. We watch that like every single
Great
morning.
nephew? I don't know. It's
And then
probably
final
same.
question to ask you. If you go back and tell your 18-year-old self anything, what would it be?
Honestly, I had a really hard time my freshman year in college.
Really?
I had a really hard time my whole college experience. I came in, I was a recruit. And the funny thing is, I was a coxswain, which is the person that sits there and steers the
Yeah.
boat and does math and screams at
Dated a
people.
few rowers, so I know.
Oh, okay.
From
And
USC,
so,
the other USC, the other USC.
oh, okay. And so, they normally only bring one on a recruiting class, if not one every other. And they brought in two my year, two scholarship coxswains. And that's just not a good look. They're competitive. And I am not someone that, will do things to get ahead. I am
Yeah.
like a very, am what I am off of merit type person. And I had to deal with someone that, was very like, I'm gonna, how do I don't
Brown
want to
nose
say
is the word.
bad per
I'll
se,
say it.
but like
Brown
I'm going to
nose.
be someone that's going to, take this outside of just outside of the boat. Like I'm going to affect the personal life of this person. And
Oh,
that's what
wow.
I had to go with. Yeah, that's what I had to deal with. And so, I actually had my
mm.
freshman year, the captains of my team had a meeting with me and said, the team is talking about you. They,
What?
Why aren't you hanging out with us? Like, why are you hanging out with all these other athletes? Because rowing is a sport where you have up to 60 or 80 girls on one team, and men is
Yeah.
about the same. And the
Mhm.
two teams stay really close to each other because it's like an automatic friendship of 60 people. Why would you not? But I've
Yeah.
always been someone that, likes to know a lot of people and wants
Mhm.
to be helpful of a lot of people. I don't like
Mhm.
to just be with one group because I don't think you get a good perspective of things
Yeah.
like that.
Mhm.
And so, my freshman year was hard because I had a lot of pressure to conform is the word that was
Mm.
used
Yeah.
to my team, and I didn't want to. And so I had to make a choice to um, do the things that I had to do to let myself be successful for college, for sports specifically, and
Mhm.
then do the things outside that made me happy and find my real friends that I stayed friends with throughout my whole life and still are to this day.
Mhm.
And that was a big learning lesson for me. And I can't say that I wasn't the reason why I had a hard time. Of course I
Yeah.
was. I was pushing back on them and like really, really trying to just like, make a name for myself outside of my own sport. And that was something that I'm happy I did. But at the same time, looking back, the two things I would tell myself is don't let other people's opinions of you and the own limitations of themselves affect how you feel about yourself. And on the
Mhm.
flip side, I would tell myself, like, there's a point in time where compromise is good and like it doesn't have to be this difficult for you. So like those two things in perspective, the balancing act of the two, that's what I would have told myself.
Well, you were beautiful both on the inside and out, and God had made you absolutely an astonishing person that wasn't capable of being closed down into a box. And sometimes people will try to keep you in that box. And being the eagle that you are, you're already always flying above it. So
and it's funny, I see so many student athletes and just young people in general who go through the same thing. And like I'm a very upfront person, like I said, and I'm always very honest about my experiences and traumas, because I think that you go through them not only to learn things about yourself, but you go through things to help other people have that third party perspective of someone who's on the outside and can give a third party opinion, or someone who has gone through that and has learned something from that. And that's that's, I have a lot of conversations right now with a lot of not only students, but student athletes. A lot of student athletes are really struggling with NIL right now. People who are doing well in NIL are not doing well with their team. Their teammates are not close to them because of the money discrepancy and the PR. And maybe, their time isn't spent hanging out with the team. It's spent researching brands and going to, in-person events and trying to make themselves better. And unfortunately, like in the athlete community, that's not as celebrated as it is in like the entrepreneur and like the business world, because we are our own clique who our goals are the aspirations of being a professional athlete. And so NIL has, I think, made it difficult for some student athletes who want to be better and who want to be involved in NIL. So it's a conversation I'm having regularly, once a week, honestly, with a lot of current and former student athletes.
Well, keep doing your Lord's work, because I think you're doing a good job.
It's like self-healing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, thank you so much. Oh, Brandon, did you have anything else?
No, Rachel's been amazing. I'm going to let her go because I know I've kept it long enough. I didn't mean to keep you this long.
I'm enjoying the conversation. Let me push my next meeting back.
Okay.
We definitely will.
Can we have you back
on the show?
Yeah,
I
please.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You have enlightened us. Our audience, our young people, they now understand how far you can go in this life, and you don't have to be old and gray to get there either. You're just enjoying this life, making things happen for yourself. You're understanding life. You're taking those experiences and you're doing a phenomenal job. I want to tell you, a phenomenal job at it. And so thank you for coming on the show. We do want you to come back, don't we, Brandon? Because we have
Rachel,
questions.
I might have you back next month, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I have many more
once I get that, and then let me get through
on.
All-Star Week this week. I'm just looking at my schedule and I'm like, 6 meetings and 6 events. Yeah, that's not happening.
Okay. Well, we'll just coordinate. And I thank you for taking the time to make this meeting today, because I missed you yesterday, but God meant for you to be on today.
Honestly, it was a good thing because I was tired.
Oh, good. I'm glad I got to upbeat you, or you make it work with the coffee. But we'll definitely, or coffee, should I say. We'll definitely have you back on.
Thank you so much.
And Rachel, we always give everyone a round of applause.
All right. Yay, great job.
You've been amazing. And we'll have you back soon. We'll coordinate. You have my number and all that kind of stuff. So we can.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. Just send me the photo you want to use for your station. I'll have this back to you in a few hours.
Perfect. Sounds good.
Brandon, did you say to ask her about pictures? Send a picture and her contact site.
Yeah. So for now, I would say my LinkedIn. It's always, Instagram, LinkedIn, etc. is just at Rachel Maeng. My first name and my Korean family name. I also have.
How do you spell that, Rachel?
Rachel, just the easy way, Rachel, and then Maeng. That's the tag. And then honestly, I have free office hours every week, twice a week, for anyone who needs help, students, student athletes, young entrepreneurs, anyone looking to network. I have them open every week. Again, I'm really, try to be a good networker, a good reciprocal person. So anyone can use my Calendly link on my LinkedIn and schedule a meeting.
All right, that sounds good. Rachel, if you want to send any people our way for the podcast, I'm pretty down to earth person. So you can just give them my number. It's completely fine. All right. Well, look, you have a wonderful day. Enjoy it. Try and get some rest if you can, or enjoy some more coffee.
All right,
some more coffee, a couple meetings, and then I got to pop out to some All-Star stuff.
Okay, let's clap.
Right. Have a good day, Rachel. All right, take care, my dear.
Thank you.
All right, let's see here.
Thank you.
Amazing, as always.
He was phenomenal.
Yes, ma'am.